Good evening. Don't go through life, grow through life. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I'm Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines.
Bahrain today announced reduced duration for booster shots from 6 to 3 months. Bahrain Metro Project Phase 1 pre-qualification tender launched. Innovative ideas invited from public sector employees. Saudi Arabia detects first case of Omicron variant today. WHO urges countries to test travelers instead of banning them.
News in detail. Bahrain today announced reduced duration for booster shots from 6 to 3 months. The minimum gap for COVID-19 booster shots has been reduced from 6 to 3 months following the emergence of the new variant Omicron. COVID-19 Task Force Monitoring Committee head Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Manaf Al-Qahtani announced the change in protocol during a press conference held remotely from the Crown Prince Center for Training and Medical Research. Dr. Manaf also called on people to exercise caution. Bahrain Metro Project Phase 1 pre-qualification tender launched. Bahrain has announced the launch of its Metro Project Phase 1 pre-qualification tender for local and international companies with relevant expertise in the field of public transportation. The first phase of the major project, which is estimated at $2 billion, will contain 2 lines with a total length of 29 kilometers and 20 stations connecting Muharraq, Manama, Diplomatic Area, Jufair, Sif District, Tubli, Athari and Iza Town. It will comprise an elevated corridor with 2 tracks. It will be carried out with the private sector as an integrated public and private participation. Bahrain celebrates Women's Day. Bahrain celebrates today the Bahraini Women's Day as a glorious national occasion launched by Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and President of Supreme Council for Women. The event, annually observed on December 1st, is still developing 14 years after its launch in 2008. However, it is becoming more and more important year after year in light of Bahraini women entering new vital areas with courage and determination as reliable partners in nation building, progress and development. The Bahraini Women's Day coincides this year with the Council's 20th anniversary and the approval of the National Action Charter. Foreign Minister highlights Bahraini women's achievements. Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani commended the accomplishments of Bahraini women at various levels. He noted the support they received under the wise leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the government headed by the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. He praised the efforts exerted by Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty, the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, to promote the advancement of Bahraini women, facilitate their success, work to achieve their aspirations, and support their constructive role in the comprehensive development process. He expressed his sincere congratulations to Bahraini women on the occasion of celebrating Bahraini Women's Day, which falls on the 1st of December every year. Royal support to Bahraini women empowerment praised. Minister for Information Ali bin Muhammad Ali Ramaihi has praised the royal vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa in empowering Bahraini women. He pointed out the numerous achievements brought about by Bahraini women at the regional and international level, stressing their pivotal role as an active partner in the kingdom's sustainable and comprehensive development march. New Undersecretary appointed by His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa issued Royal Decree 116 of 2021 appointing Sheikh Ahmed bin Isa bin Khalifa Al Khalifa as Undersecretary for Ports and Maritime Affairs at the Transportation and Telecommunications Ministry. The Transportation and Telecommunication Minister shall implement the decree, which takes immediate effect and will be published in the official Gazette. Innovative ideas invited from public sector employees. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, issued an email to all public sector employees. In his communication, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister encouraged public sector employees to join the government innovation competition. He noted that the innovative ideas generated by the competition could form the basis of future developments. His Royal Highness Prince Salman noted that the competition aims to encourage creativity and innovation among government sector employees to improve government efficiency and advance kingdom's development. Bahrain participates in Asian African Legal Consultative Organization's 59th annual session. Foreign Affairs Minister's Chief of Legal Affairs, Ambassador Mohammed Abdurrahman Al Haidan, headed the delegation of the Kingdom of Bahrain participating virtually in the 59th annual session of Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, which is hosted by the People's Republic of China in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region from November 29 to December 1st. Ambassador Al Haidan delivered the Kingdom's speech in which he affirmed the Kingdom's commitment to international law and the rules established by international norms and formulated by international treaties related to international trade in order to achieve the common interests between countries and their people. His Royal Highness the Prince congratulated Muharrak Club. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, has commended Muharrak Club for winning the Asian Cup for the second time, that reflecting their spirit of determination and competition. This came as His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister received the chairman of the Muharrak Sports Club, Sheikh Ahmed bin Ali Al Khalifa, members of the board, football team players, as well as the club's technical and administrative staff at Rifa Palace. His Royal Highness Prince Salman noted that the achievements made by the sports sector on the regional and global level are a product of the support of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Region-wide partnership signed between Export Bahrain and Talabat. Export Bahrain and Talabat, the region's leading e-commerce and food delivery tech organization, have signed a region-wide agreement to facilitate the exporting made in Bahrain products throughout the MENA region. The deal aims at improving trade and business for SME exports based in Bahrain through Talabat's online platforms. LMRA conducted inspection campaign in Southern Governorate. The Labour Market Regulatory Authority conducted an inspection campaign on expatriate employees gathering places at a number of shops in Southern Governorate in cooperation with the Nationality Passports and Residence Affairs Directorate and the Southern Governorate. The joint inspection campaigns aim to stabilize the local market and identifying any violations or illegal procedures that may affect the fairness, flexibility and competitiveness of the labour market. The campaign resulted in the arrest of several violators who were found in breach of the LMRA provisions and the residence law in Bahrain. The authority stresses the importance of the society's role in supporting the efforts of government agencies in addressing illegal practices in the labour market. Bahrain experienced a light fog today and fall of cold weather expected on Friday. The Ministry of Transportation and Telecommunications Meteorological Directorate forecasted a partly cloudy and little foggy weather in the Kingdom of Bahrain today and cold wind on Friday. The surface maps indicate the control of an air rise over the northern Arabian Peninsula, which led to the blowing of northwesterly winds on the Arabian Gulf. The Kingdom of Bahrain is affected by active to strong winds, sometimes with a gusty speed in some areas. It is expected that the wind speed will gradually decrease this evening, which leads to an increase in surface humidity. Today's COVID updates.
COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers.
Al Hilal Healthcare organized a free medical checkup in association with Bahrain Nursing Society at Ramli Mall. Bahrain has a part of Diabetes Awareness Month. Around 50 people participated in the event. Free mini comprehensive checkup coupons were distributed by Al Hilal. India has postponed the resumption of international flights from December 15 due to the emergence of the COVID-19 Omicron variant. The Director General of Civil Aviation DGCA made the announcement today, citing the evolving global scenario in light of the new variant. Last month, the Indian government had decided to resume international flights operations from December 15. Scheduled international flights to and from India remain suspended since March 2020 following the coronavirus pandemic. India's economy grows by 8.4% amidst signs of recovery. India's economy grew by 8.4% in the July-September quarter from the same period a year earlier. The government announced Tuesday rising hopes of recovery after the country suffered historic contractions sparked by the coronavirus pandemic. India, Asia's third largest economy, suffered one of the biggest setbacks among major economies in the last fiscal year, Associated Press reported. After being hit by a devastating surge struck by Delta variant earlier this year, the situation in India has improved in recent months. Bollywood superstar Salman Khan to perform in Saudi Arabia in December. Dabangg, the tour, reloaded. Salman Khan's hugely popular international event held across the globe is coming to Riyadh with a bang on 10th December 2021, said the superstar on Wednesday. Are you ready for the biggest event of the year? He asked on Instagram. To be held at the International Arena Parade Zone in the Saudi's capital, it will feature Salman along with Shilpa Shetty, Jacqueline Fernandez, Prabhudeva, Sai Mukherjee, Guru Radhwana, Ayush Sharma, Kamal Khan, Manish Paul and Sonal Grover. Now we will be back after a very short break. Welcome back. Saudi Arabia detects first case of Omicron variant today. Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Health said a case of the COVID-19 Omicron variant was detected in the kingdom by a citizen coming from a North African country. The infected citizen and his contacts were isolated and approved health procedures were completed. An epidemiological investigation was conducted, the press agency said. Kingdom's Ministry of Health stressed the need for all members of society to complete receiving COVID-19 vaccine doses and to adhere to all precautionary measures, preventive measures and approved protocols, as well as the importance of those coming from traveling to adhere to the instructions related to quarantine and laboratory examination for their safety and the safety of all. Ban of direct arrivals from Saudi to 6 countries to be lifted today. The Saudi Arabian General Authority of Civil Aviation confirmed that starting from 1 o'clock in the morning of today, Wednesday, the suspension of direct entry to the kingdom will begin to be lifted from 6 countries from which entry is suspended. Travelers from India, Indonesia, Brazil, Vietnam, Egypt and Pakistan can directly enter the kingdom without having to spend 14 days outside these countries. UAE ranks first on Bloomberg's COVID resilience ranking. UAE has risen to top of Bloomberg's COVID resilience ranking, proving one more its mettle in ensuring the safety of its residents and managing crisis. Bloomberg noted that the UAE outperformed Europe in terms of containing the pandemic, naming it as the best place to be with the emergence of Omicron variant. Emirates news agency reported. The COVID resilience ranking is a monthly snapshot of where the virus is being handled most effectively with the least social and economic upheaval. Dubai rural pardoned 672 prisoners ahead of UAE's 50th National Day. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, has ordered the release of 672 prisoners from punitive and correctional establishments in Dubai ahead of UAE's 50th National Day. Dubai Public Prosecution will immediately commence the legal procedures required to implement Sheikh Mohammed's order. Oman Rally Sohar International gets underway tomorrow evening. Oman Rally Sohar International 2021 gets underway with a ceremonial start at Al Khorram on Thursday evening. Organized by the Oman Automobile Association, the 12-stage event is the final round of the 2021 FIA Middle East Rally. Championship has attracted a dozen crews in the international sector and a further 11 who will tackle the second and third rounds of the Oman Rally Championship. Obligatory health insurance for expats of Kuwait to start at KD 130. Obligatory health insurance for expatriates in Kuwait will start at the annual fee of Kuwaiti dinar 130 and will increase by KD 20 every 2 years to reach a maximum of KD 190 per person in 9 years. The new service will apply to all expatriates in Kuwait, including dependents. An expatriate's personal health insurance does not replace obligatory health insurance, which will be necessary for renewing the residency permit. WHO urges countries to test travelers instead of banning them. The World Health Organization reprimanded national governments on Tuesday for shutting down travel from Southern Africa in response to the emergence of the Omicron coronavirus variant. Blanket travel bans will not prevent the international spread, and they place a heavy burden on lives and livelihoods, the UN Health Agency said in Geneva. It also warned that such bans could disincentivize countries from reporting and sharing epidemiological and sequencing data in the global pandemic. According to WHO, at least 56 countries have responded to the latest variant of the coronavirus with travel restrictions. Japan imposed a travel ban to some foreigners with resident status. Japan on Wednesday said it would expand its travel ban on foreigners entering the nation, preventing those with resident status from 10 African nations, including South Africa, from entering the country for the time being. On Monday, Japan took some of the strictest steps globally by closing its borders to all newly entering foreigners in light of the emergence of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. Omicron variant may have reached Europe earlier than thought. Economic powerhouses Japan and France reported their first cases of the Omicron variant Tuesday, while new findings indicates the mutant coronavirus was already in Europe close to a week before South Africa sounded the alarm. Much remains unknown about the new variant, including whether it is more contagious or, as some health authorities suspect, whether it makes people more seriously ill and whether it can thwart the vaccine. US tightens COVID-19 travel rules as countries race to quell Omicron threat. Air travelers to the United States will face together COVID-19 testing rules as several countries move to self-seal off their borders amid heightened uncertainty around the virulence of the Omicron variant and its ability to dodge existing vaccines, according to Japan, Hong Kong. They said that they would expand travel curbs, while Australia braced for more cases of the coronavirus variant after at least 2 people visited several locations in its biggest city, while likely infectious, in an attempt to stave off hasty border curbs. The World Health Organization urged countries to apply an evidence-informed and risk-based approach to travel measures, saying blanket travel bans will not prevent the international spread, and they place a heavy burden on lives and livelihoods. BioNTech announces development of adapted vaccine for Omicron variant. The German vaccine manufacturer BioNTech has announced that it is developing an adapted vaccine as a precautionary measure while simultaneously carrying out research on the nature of the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus. The laboratory tests are necessary to assess whether a new vaccine is necessary for or not. The process involves serum from vaccinated individuals being exposed to the spike protein of the variant to examine how it reacts, said DPA International. BioNTech said on Friday that the new variant was significantly different from previously observed variants because it had additional mutations on the spike protein. Data from laboratory tests now underway would soon indicate whether an adjustment to the vaccine would be needed if this variant spreads internationally, it said. The company expects to have initial findings by the end of next week. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates at BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I'm Vinod Narayan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.